What's up, guys? Boris here, coming to you guys with my review for Hunter x Hunter chapter 357. And boom, man, I've never been so shocked by a manga chapter ever. And I was shocked twice. I was shocked twice in this chapter. The first time I was shocked was right at the beginning, where you see Hisoka's dead body, and it's like, what? How did he die? I didn't think he would die, especially after that one shot by Ishida that came out last week. So I was like, no, man, I didn't want Hisoka to die. This really sucks. And he looks completely messed up. He looks completely messed up. But it turns out that Residual Nen saves the day. Now, in case you guys don't know what Residual Nen is, they talked about it back during the battle. Some Nen persist even after death and actually get stronger. Now, this wasn't the first time that we've mentioned this, so don't think that this is some sort of random power up or whatever. No, this has been foreshadowed time and time again in the Hunter x Hunter manga. To give you some examples, back when Kurapika chained Chrollo, the reason they couldn't kill Kurapika, they mentioned that, I believe it was Finks who mentioned that the Residual Nen from Kurapika, from the malice, would potentially kill him, even though Kurapika would be dead. Pretty much what this means is that when a user dies, their Nen still can linger, and it can actually become stronger. So if they killed Kurapika, his hatred for the ants could potentially trigger that the little sword inside of Chrollo's heart to still stab him. So they didn't want to kill him. Another example, remember when Neferupito, remember when Gon killed Neferupito? Remember when Neferupito was still moving even after he died? That's more Residual Nen. So anytime a strong user dies, if their will is strong enough, they can still manage to, their Nen will still linger even after their death and potentially do some crazy stuff. So in this case, Hisoka had learned about Residual Nen, as we knew about during the battle. He hinted at knowing about it, and so here he goes. He left some bungee gum, and the Residual Nen made it, squeeze the heart, and so that's the whole reason. If you remember at the beginning of the chapter, first page, they said that he didn't die from the battle. He died from asphyxiation. So really, all he needed to do was breathe a little bit, and he'd be back to life. And there you go, and he even got Machi to stitch him up. Now, the real question, I think the real question this chapter is potentially, did Hisoka know that this was going to happen? Is Hisoka a genius? Did he assume that Chrollo would take the powers of his fellow ant members and then use that to strike them down? Because if you realize here, the two people who were killed, the two troop members who were killed, which, by the way, was probably the most shocking moment I've ever read in manga, were Shalnark and Kurtopi, and these guys were the ones who lended their abilities to Chrollo. You had Shalnark giving the black voice, and you had Kurtopi giving him the gallery fake. So right now they don't have their powers. I don't know if they still have Nen. I would assume that they still have Nen. They just don't have their specific powers, but who knows? But still, you wonder, was this part of Hisoka's plan? I do think that he underestimated Chrollo, and this did give me, give more points to Chrollo. Chrollo's really, really strong. But as Hisoka points out, it could have been different if they weren't fighting in the Heavens Arena with a lot of people surrounding him, and with giving Chrollo time to prepare, gaining some ability specifically for Hisoka. The real question I want you to see what you guys think is, could Chrollo beat Hisoka 1v1 without any preparation? That's the real question. I don't know. We'll have to find out eventually, and that's sort of a little bit of the theme of the chapters. From now on, Hisoka is going to strike. He's not going to give them time to prepare. I assume that he would give him time to prepare because he wants the fight to be as thrilling as possible. But this time he realizes, I can't win that way. Not against Chrollo, and even potentially against some of the troop. So, and if I said ants earlier, I meant troop. My bad. With that said, what else? Okay, so yeah, the shocking moment. Hisoka's smart. He takes out the weakest guy, which is, I assume, Kurtopi is the weakest guy in the troop. And then Shalnark could have still posed a threat if he still had his Nen. I'm not sure if he did or not. So what Hisoka does is he grabs the head, throws it at Shalnark. Shalnark's going to be caught off guard. Any of the troop members would be caught off guard by that, and then he uses that moment to strike. And that last panel, man, I don't know what to say. It was crazy, and I couldn't believe it. It's one of those things where, like, you're just reading it and I can't believe it. Like, am I really reading Hunter x Hunter? The question is, why didn't he kill Machi? Machi, that's one of those weird things. I think I'm still not sure if he's trying to go after her. Maybe she's leaving her to be the last Phantom Troup alive. That could be one thing, but I don't know. But he did leave her alive, at least to send the message to the rest of the troop to go ahead and let them know that he's going to be after them. And I don't know. It's just sort of it's really weird. I don't know what's going to happen from here on out. I think it'll be a while before we see Hisoka strike, but who knows? He could strike next chapter. I don't know. He might go after someone else next chapter. The other thing to notice, I guess the last thing I want to mention, is the fact that the bungee gum is pretty OP, because you can see he sort of reconstructed himself. But really what it is think about, how in One Piece Aokiji, he lost, like, I think his arm or something, so he just remade it with ice. It's sort of the same thing here. He doesn't actually grow anything back. He has Nen. Pretty much he extends his hand, and he makes new fingers from Nen, but they're not actually physical fingers, they're Nen fingers, and then he uses the paper to cover it up, so that it seems like he grew limbs, but he didn't really. So, and same thing with the scars, it makes him seem, so don't think he's like, he's gonna need, I think he's gonna need some rest, personally. I think he's gonna need some treatment before he can actually take on Phantom Troup members with their abilities. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe he'll strike during the expedition to the Dark Continent. So I don't know. And of course, it's confirmed that Chrollo wants to go after the treasure. I mean, that was obvious, right? That was obvious that he was going to go after the treasure. But I think they do have to enter as a general admission, because I don't think they're actually considered hunters at the moment. So they're gonna try to probably sneak on there, or maybe hit up one of the princes and see if they can go with them. So yeah, the last page is savage. 10 more to go, and yeah, I feel really bad for Shalnark. The fact that he's like the Super Saiyan of the series, he could go Super Saiyan if he uses his ability, is kind of sad, because I wanted to see that ability one more time. But now we probably won't see it. Although, to be fair, remember that Chrollo still has no, actually, does Chrollo still have I think Chrollo should still have the ability, right? Because he still had the ability from the guy from Meteor City, who I think had died already. So yeah, that's the real question. Will Chrollo keep those abilities, and will he use them in the future? Who knows? So let me know what your guys' thoughts were about this chapter. I think this is close to a 10 out of 10 for me. But I don't know. Like, I'm shocked. So this is pretty much as almost as good as a chapter can get. Primarily just due to just being completely blindsided. But yeah, there's still some questions of whether Hisoka had planned all this. Did he know, or did he have an intuition that Chrollo would take some of his Phantom Troup members' powers? And yeah, it was cool to see Chrollo come out on top. But I'm also glad to see that Hisoka still managed to escape. With that said, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, peace.